Hello children. Today we will be doing chapter 3, two stories about flying from the textbook called The First Flight. This story is further subdivided into two stories. Number 1 being his first flight, number 2 Black Aeroplane. So today we will be looking at the first part, that is his first flight by Liam O'Flaherty. Liam O'Flaherty was an Irish novelist, short story writer and major figure in the Irish literary Renaissance. O'Flaherty wrote almost exclusively in English, except for a small number of short stories in Irish language. He was born on 28 August 1896 in Irishmore, Ireland, and he died on 7 September 1984 at the age of 88 in Dublin, Ireland. This story is a true parable about overcoming fears in life. Every journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step. But that single step is the most difficult one to make. Conquer the fear and venture forth, and we realize that we were born with wings. This story is about a seagull, a bird who is very young and is just beginning to learn to fly. The young seagull was alone on his ledge, and he looked down desperately at the vast expanse of sea that stretched down beneath his ledge. He was hungry. His parents had flown away along with his brothers and his little sister, leaving him alone on the rock without food. They could all fly, and he could not. He had tried several times to run forward to the brink of the ledge and flap his wings, but he became afraid. He was certain that his wings would not support him. His parents had tried countless times to make him fly, but for the life of him, he would not make an attempt. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock, while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. And all the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau, midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again, she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. He felt that he was going to starve to death on his ledge. He cried at her, but she just screamed back mockingly. "Ga, ga, ga," he cried, begging her to bring him some food. "Gokula," she screamed back derisively, but he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute he felt a joy seeing his mother approaching him with food, but she halted, keeping the fish just out of his reach. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. Maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish, but his mother flew upward and he started falling. Then a monstrous terror seized him and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a minute. The next moment he felt his wings spread outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a little bit dizzy. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. "Ga, ga, 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 Gokula!" His mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. He saw his two brothers and his sister flying around him and soaring and diving. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commended himself to dive and soar and curve, shrieking shrilly. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into it. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. But he was tired and weak with hunger and he could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. His feet sank into the green sea and then his belly touched it. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. He had made his first flight. His first flight highlights the importance of independence, self-belief and confidence, and the need for motivation to attain goals. Necessity is always the mother of invention, but it sometimes needs an initial spark from outside. The story is also a metaphorical assertion that everyone needs to be independent even while staying involved in family life. But the joy of independence is not meant for cowards. The mother seemed to be well aware of the Chinese proverb, "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime." And why? She might have even heard of Franklin D. Roosevelt's maxim, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself."